What's happening? Okay. All right. Let's see though. Yes, we have audio. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see though. Yes, we have audio. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see though. Yes, we have audio. All right. Sorry, just finishing the last technical setup here. Let's mute that. Hello, there's already people in the YouTube chat room. What's up, everybody? Okay, this is, yeah, okay, this is public. Cool. Okay. All right, so welcome to the Space Mike After Dark show. The software that I have could have possibly gotten Lisa Stojanowski on here. However, I'm just using the free version of it. It's called XSplit. And if I were to upgrade for $14 a month, then I can also get in Skype calls and I can do a split screen where I would be on one side and Lisa or whoever I have on Skype would be on the other side. So that is a possible thing. It won't look as good as the tomorrow broadcasts, but it is possible to do. So learning more about this all the time. Gosek INZ says you have your own Trojan asteroids, Mike. Not sure what you mean by that, but thanks, I think. I'm not sure. Oh man, so we have two different chat rooms going on here, so let me, I'll go back and forth and try to read the comments this time so that those of you who might be watching this later can see, or rather know who I'm responding to and what I'm trying to say. Let's see. Jim Burr says, After Dark chat is also not to be missed. I don't know if Empire Hexmark is still in the room. Let's see. Zwaby on the YouTube chat says, can't OBS do Skype? I'm not sure what OBS is. I'm assuming that's another encoding, broadcasting, live broadcasting software. And most of them can, but you usually have to pay for that. And I am a cheap, broke SOB, so. Smokescale Aquato says, Space Mike, broadcasting from the Shadow Zone. Yeah, exactly, with this black background. It's funny, I actually had a totally different background in mind for Orbit 10. I was going to do this really cool white background that kind of had these diamond patterns on it. But Ben was just like, no, I just want a solid black background. And I realized once we, did some test calls for the holographic Space Mic with the TV tilted the way we have it, that the black background really makes me like pop out of that TV and really gives the whole holographic effect. So that's really cool that we did that. So I'm not sure if I'm still going to use the other idea that I had planned, but I'm thinking that I need to start creating like 3 or 4 different sets because I'm starting to dip my fingers in so much stuff. I mean, we have all the, we're doing the Tomorrow live show, and we can have this background for the live show. And then I'm thinking that I need to have a different background for space pods. If I even use a background indoors, I might start going out and doing more outdoor space pods like that Lisa does. That's something that Ben has asked for. So got to start doing that some more. And then let's see. 2 spots left and right. Oh, I know what you're seeing. Yeah. Okay, so earlier, GoSec INZ said I have my own Trojan asteroids, and then later said 2 spots left and right. I have little push pins in here so that you can't see the folds in this background here. It's really ghetto setup, but with the camera tilted, it's just right out of frame, my little Trojan asteroids here. Sorry about that. Let's see, I'm going to go back to the Tomorrow live chat room for a moment. Let's see. Mini Stoge says, fun fact, I had my laptop raised on a book that I grabbed from the hostel bookshelf last minute today. I've done that before when I had to use the webcam on my laptop here and raised it up a bunch. In fact, I was going to do that today, so I wasn't looking straight down so much, but forgot to get that set up. At least I had all the different sound barriers set up here. I don't know what you guys think. Did the sound coming from me, was it okay this time for this last live show or not? Let's see. So Green Jim LL says, Space Mike, I've done some quick Googling about UK stopping Australia from having space program. Can't find anything. So no one really stopped Australia from having a space program other than themselves. But with the Woomera launch site, I mean, most of the funding for that and the joint project between England and Australia, most of the money from that was coming from England, from the UK. And when that funding was pulled, Australia didn't put more money in. I really wish that we could do this Skype call right now so that Lisa can school us a little bit better on that. But I could be wrong about all of that. I was just under the understanding that after the Blue Streak project, which Australia and England cooperated on, after that was canceled, and after the Europa rockets project were canceled, which were like the precursors to the Ariane rockets, that the Commonwealth passed a law that Australia could not launch anything from Australian soil that is, anything bigger than a sounding rocket. So that was the understanding that I was under. That's the impression that I was under. And I got that from a documentary that was interviewing the Australian engineers and some of the British engineers and scientists who were involved in those programs, and got like the Black Arrow launches from Woomera, and the Sparta program, which used American Redstone rockets. So I could be very wrong on that. So if you guys have more information, great. I have so many things up on the screen right here. I'm not going to waste your time watching me look up the links and stuff like that. But I can find that stuff for you later to show the information that I was under the understanding of. So yeah. Green Jim LL also says hollow mic effect is brilliant. Thank you. You can thank Ben Credible for that. That was his vision before we even got it good. All right, you guys are saying that the sound from me was good today. That's great. Helldesk says, do you have Mumble or something instead? I don't know what Mumble is either. I'm assuming that's another encoding software. Mini Stoge says that she hasn't even heard my explanation before about why Australia didn't continue doing space programs. So maybe the documentary I watched was just some sort of BS BBC thing. I don't even know then. But my whole reason for earlier during the show, the whole reason that we started this whole discussion about Australia's space program is that someone said that the United States banned Australia from launching rockets. And I've never heard anything like that, so I don't know. Okay, Heldesk says Mumble is a voice comm software with low latency, but probably not relevant for this application. Okay. That would be like more for like podcasts and stuff like that, I'm assuming. All right, I'm going to go back to the YouTube chat room for a minute. Let's see what anyone says. Oh, Sin says, oh, the YouTube chat interface has changed. Yeah, I kind of like it. I think it's nicer now. Except for when there's like, 60,000 people watching something live at once and just the comment section is just scrolling by and you can't read anything. So... Jim Burr says, Space Mike, 7 landings from SpaceX looks like they will be reliable. When do you think they will be flying old boosters? So yeah, it's, oh man, that launch today was super exciting. The view of, all, pretty much going all the way down to land on the drone ship. Oh my gosh, there was like just a few couple little glitches there that our very own Pixel janitor Ben Credible may or may not clean up, but that was amazing to see it all the way, and that was so cool. That was so cool. So looks like they might be reliable. Yeah, maybe so. They still need to do more landings before they get complete confidence from the rest of the space industry, I guess. But when do I think they will be flying old boosters? I wish I knew. I really wish I knew. I know there is some of their customers that they've flown like communication satellites for have already said that they're okay with being flying on the reused boosters. And I'm having a brain fart at the moment. I cannot remember what the company is that said that they would be on the first one. It was the same company that was on the first successful landing. Gosh darn it! I'm so tired. I was up so late last night trying to get the media ready. Oh man. I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me out with that. Cosmic Lettuce in the YouTube chat says, when are first stage landings going to be boring? Congrats to SpaceX for another epic moment. Nice video. Would it be fair to say that it might already be boring to the rest of the general public? Like, oh, SpaceX landed another rocket. That's cool. Whatever. If that's even... And, other than like CBS, there's not really any of the major news medias that are covering space topics in a good, legitimate way. I mean, there's exceptions, and it really depends on the writer and the presenters and everything like that. But take Huffington Post, for example, a majority of their space topic articles, are just your very bare bones minimum kind of glossing the surface of the topic. And occasionally you'll have an article that goes a little bit more in depth that's good. I don't really read Huffington Post that much, but whenever something space is reported on from like a bigger news agency, I always am just kind of curious into how they will cover it and how they'll talk about it. So as for the rest of us who are pretty integrated now into the space industry, not the space industry, but we're following it. We're fans of and are following the space industry closely. I don't know if it'll ever get boring for us. I hope it doesn't. But then again, maybe if they start doing it a lot and more often, if they don't have any accidents for quite a while, hopefully they don't have any more, at least this year. Then if they have like 2, 3, 4 landings in a row in like the same month, then who knows, it might be a little boring. Just like, oh yeah, that's great, and they did another landing, cool. And if they ever have another landing failure or something, people be like, what happened? I thought they knew how to do this. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry, GoSec INZ is clarifying the Commonwealth of Australia, not the Commonwealth of Nations. I'm sorry. But again, you guys make me feel like I'm completely wrong about all this now. Gersisek B, Grzesiek B says in the YouTube chat room, Mike, do you always do a live stream after tomorrow? No, I don't always. This is only like the second time I've done a live stream around the time that we do the tomorrow live shows. The first time was actually because we had a 2-hour delay because our audio board crapped out, and so I did a live stream to kind of, keep everyone entertained, I guess, until we started the live show. So since we didn't do an After Dark this week, I'm just doing this to, hang out with you guys and maybe talk about a couple more space topics before I get super tired and need to go to bed. But I'm still got a good caffeine high from my coffee earlier, so we'll see when I crash from that. In any case, Osin said in the YouTube chat, didn't they recently test Hi-Fire or some scramjet, a collaboration between the US and the Australian military? Lisa Stojanovsky later said, yes, Hi-Fire is an active program. And Lisa Stojanovsky said, Mike, just because I haven't heard doesn't mean it is not true. So regarding the whole situation with Australia. And like the situation I'm talking about was like back in the 60s. Let's see. Never trust the never trust the BBC, says Stephen Chandler. You're probably right about that. Just like Americans should never trust Fox News. Oh, man. Tier Red says, Space Mike, what are your thoughts on SpaceX Dragon 2 being fueled with Astros on board versus fueling first and then loading Astros? See, I'm conflicted on that, and it all has to do with the densified propellant. With the accident that SpaceX had with the Amos 6 satellite and the second stage exploding because of problems with the helium tank and this super densified liquid oxygen, which could have become solid oxygen. I feel like, rockets are hard and it's risky no matter what. Even if you have a fuel that you have worked with a lot and have a lot of experience with, things can still go wrong. The Space Shuttle solid rocket boosters, for example. So whether they're doing the densified propellant or not, it's still risky. But because they're doing the densified propellant and because the longer it sits there before they launch, the more the fuel will heat up and expand and, possibly create more and more risk of an explosion. So in terms of the rocket's safety and health and having a successful launch of the rocket, I am starting to see now why SpaceX has decided to go this route of having the astronauts board the Crew Dragon and then load the Falcon and then launch. However, at the same time, I totally get where some of these safety panels are coming from, saying, whoa, that's super dangerous. You're putting the astronauts at more risk. And yes, that's true. So this is why I'm really conflicted. I don't know what the best solution would be other than for their crewed missions, SpaceX might have to scale back, to one of the earlier versions of the Falcon 9. I haven't heard any more of the Block 1, Block 2, Block 3 lingo getting passed around, but then again, I don't work at SpaceX, so maybe we can ask Ben and Carrie Ann if they're referring to the old versions as the different block versions of the Falcon 9, or if it's still just a random naming scheme. But they might have to roll back a version of the Falcon 9 to before before they were using densified propellant in order to satisfy all the different safety requirements of launching people into space. But that's just me, just off the top of my head. Like, that might be a solution, but I honestly don't know. Oh, thank you. To my earlier question about who's going to be riding on a Falcon 9 reused booster first, is the company SES that said that they wanted to be the first ones, or were okay with being the first ones. Thank you guys in the chat room for letting me. Oh, and then we're, oh wait, never mind. Or Orbcom? See, I'm so tired, I can't even, oh man. But then again, oh wait, no, Orbcom, yes, Orbcom was the first, was the company that was on that mission that was the first landing back in December of 2015. But it is SES that is going to be using the first reuse stage. I'm like 98% sure that's what it is. Oh boy, let's see. Let's catch up on these comments there. Thank you guys for joining me. How many of there are you in here right now? Oh man, there's like 53 of you watching right now. Awesome. Thank you for coming over. Let me go back to the tomorrow chat room. Has anyone else? Yeah, okay. It looks like there's a couple more comments in here. This is Webby has a link to something called obsproject.com. Oh, open broadcast software. Oh, And completely free. Okay, it's got all the gaming stuff. That's cool. I'll look into that later. I'll leave that link open so that I can look at that later. Thank you, Zweby, for that link. I'll check it out. And if you guys know of any other better broadcasting software that's free and that we can have the Skype calls and everything else we want to do, one of these days I'm going to try to do some Kerbal broadcasts, but I feel like I've totally missed the boat on that one. So it would more just to see if like you guys want to see Space Mike play Kerbal and all the crazy mods that I use. Anyway, oh, any news on that tiny, Helldesk says, any news on that tiny JAXA CubeSat launcher? They delayed the launch. They did. As far as I knew, as of yesterday, they delayed the launch until today. It is currently, if they still launch, okay, it looks like they're still planning to launch today. They might be launching in about 3 hours from now. It's currently 2020 UTC. So if this goes off, then they will be launching somewhere around like 23:32 Coordinated Universal Time if they don't have any delays. They delayed that launch because of upper winds. So hopefully that successfully goes off. It's just to launch a small CubeSat, but still, I think that's pretty cool that they are, they added another stage to this sounding rocket that they've been using forever, and gonna get a CubeSat all the way into orbit with it. Hopefully, that would be awesome if that actually, if that goes off. And if my question is though, is how much is it costing them? And how much would it cost other people to launch with them on that? I'm all for a lot of these new small satellite launchers that are coming out, but here's something that's a dedicated CubeSat launcher if they keep using it. And if it's super cheap, then they might be launching quite a few more of these in the future. That would be awesome. I'd really like to know more about the new upper stage for this. One JAXA website said it was a solid, and then another JAXA website said it was a hybrid. So I'm just like, what? Like a hybrid? That looks tiny though. That can't be a hybrid. So maybe something lost in translation there. I don't know. Let's see. Sorry, just reading through the comments here. Yeah, okay. Get Elon to play Kerbal on live stream. Yeah, let's first try to get Elon on live stream. Period. Oh man, I'm gonna go back to the YouTube chat room now. Oh, Gregory, the Grzesiekb. I guess I should pronounce your name Gregory. Sorry about that. The Polish guy in the chat room, says Zwebi. Oh man. Oh man, I'm far behind on these comments. Sorry guys. Let's see here. Hasham says, do you think SpaceX can put ULA out of business if they ramp up their launch cadence? Absolutely not. It's going to take a lot to make United Launch Alliance go out of business. First of all, they are so integrated and have so many future contracts with NASA and with the Department of Defense and with some commercial providers as well. They're starting to do more commercial launches, which is awesome. And they have had an extremely reliable launch rate over the years with both the Atlas V and Delta IV and Delta II, although that's not going to be launching anymore. So they would need to have like a bunch of failures, lose a bunch of contracts, and just, you know, a lot of bad shit would have to happen to them in order for them to completely go out of business and for SpaceX to win out on that. However, how awesome would it be if United Launch Alliance and SpaceX merged? I know that would be like a freaking paperwork nightmare and such a logistics nightmare, but that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. I like when space companies merge together and combine forces to do something better. For example, when Orbital Sciences and ATK merged, that was, oh my gosh, that was like the best thing that could have happened to either company. I mean, that pretty much saved Orbital Sciences right there. And just with the inventory of product that they have now between ATK and Orbital Sciences, they could kerbal together so many new types of rockets, it's not even funny. Like their NGLS, their next generation launch system, which is going to be hopefully in the EELV program, the same program that United Launch Alliance and now SpaceX are a part of to launch classified military payloads. There's so many options of existing hardware they have that they could put together to create their whatever their next generation launch system is. So that was a really cool thing. So I really like when space companies merge together, and that's why I had a story today about Planet, which I hate that they dropped the labs from their name and it's just Planet. They should have kept Planet Labs. That's a much better name. But yeah, if Planet Labs and Terabella merge or are acquired by each other or whatever. And again, that's just a rumor, but Terabella is up for sale right now, so we'll see. But that would be cool. That would be cool. Let's see. Yeah, as Marcin Masajewski says, NASA will always order something from ULA just to keep them in life and to have competition in commercial rocket industry. I pretty much agree. Although I'm really glad that a lot of their ground support funding has gone away and United Launch Alliance has to pay for that themselves like SpaceX has to. BS, man. That's why those launches were like $350, $450 million a piece. But now you go on their Rocket Builder website and you can possibly get one without all the insurance options for like 90 million. So what's up with that? It's because of the old contracts. So I'm glad a lot of that stuff has gone away. Oh man. Can a Falcon 9 FT full thrust use non-densified propellant? I don't think so. I think that's what the full thrust means. Well, not necessarily full thrust because they have pushed the engines, higher than they used to before. So maybe it could use the non-densified propellant, but they might call it like the FT Mini or something like that. Even though it might be the same size, it won't have the same performance. Oh man. K2LSS says 53 people is like a small lecture hall. You're absolutely right. Way to give me some nervousness. Way to give me social anxiety. No, I'm just kidding. Oh man. Let's see. B Fitz asks, Mike, are you aware of any design changes to future SpaceX second stages, and is there more than one kind of second stage as in bigger version? Also, is Centaur, I think you mean Centaur, have more than one version of its second stage? So any design changes to the SpaceX second stage, eventually I think they still plan on trying to reuse the second stages and land them and install a bunch of what am I trying to say? Heat tiles to protect it from re-entry, because unlike the first stage, which is still kind of within the atmosphere, when it does its boost back and returns back to either land or one of the drone ships at sea, the upper stage would definitely be all the way into orbit and would have to go through the heat of re-entry. So they had the plan to do that, although it's pretty much on hold for the time being. A design change that they're doing right now, though, is better COPV tanks for the helium to keep the tanks pressurized. Excuse me. So that's a change that they've had to make, which I don't know if this launch that they did today had any changes like that or not. But thank goodness today's launch was a successful launch. They desperately needed that, and hopefully they can just get right back to business. Don't have any launch failures this year, and awesome things happen. Now, is there more than one kind of second stage, as in a bigger version? Yes and no. So that's a twofold question. Eventually, when they have, you know, I guess they're not really going to do Falcon X or Falcon XX anymore, because I guess they're going to be going from Falcon Heavy to the ITS, the Interplanetary Transport System. And on Falcon Heavy, it's going to be the same upper stage. However, on the ITS, they're going to be using their methane engine Raptor engines, and before they ever fly those on the ITS, the Air Force, the United States Air Force, awarded SpaceX with a contract to build a smaller version of the Raptor engine to try it out as an upper stage, to replace the liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen Merlin vacuum engine for the upper stage right now on the Falcon 9, and have it be this Raptor experiment using the methane fuel. So there is going to be that, and then they're going to upscale that, of course, for the different tankage and engines on the ITS system. So there is going to be that. And then also to the last part of your question, does Centaur have more than one version of its second stage? Yes, it does. There's been a lot of versions of Centaur up until now. They've been flying the Centaur since the 1960s. I mean, they first flew Centaur on Atlas 3 SLV, I think it was called. And that's not the Atlas 3. There's a difference between the Atlas 3 and the 3 SLV. Way before Atlas 3 and way before Atlas 2, I believe, as well. They even used to have some solid rockets on that stage and a half Atlas, which was really cool. But the versions, there's only two versions that I know of that they have right now, which is the single engine Centaur and the dual engine Centaur. So as far as I know, they haven't used any of the dual engine Centaurs on the Atlas V yet. But they do plan to use the dual engine Centaur whenever the CST-100, Boeing's crewed space capsule, starts flying. That's the plan, is to use the dual engine Centaur for that. And then you could say that there is a Super Centaur in construction right now, and that's the exploration upper stage, which is going to be used on the Space Launch System. And I'm pretty much considering it a 4-engine Centaur, because it's built by the same people, it's the same engines, bigger tankage that's made out of the same materials, so I'm calling it a Super Centaur. It's the 4-engine Centaur, even though NASA is calling it the exploration upper stage. So anyway. Let's see. Gregory B says, who plays KSB right now? After launch, I always play. I actually haven't played KSP in a while. It's been like, it was before the holidays, like probably even before Thanksgiving, so it's been over 2 months since I've played. Nate Emberson asks, I'd love to know what KSP mods you use. One of my favorite mods is something called Blue Dog Design Bureau, which gives you all the parts of all the American historic rockets. So I can launch the Vanguard rocket, the Redstone rocket, the Jupiter rocket, Saturn 1C, Saturn 1B, Saturn 5, of course, all the different variations of the Titan rockets, all the variations of the Atlas rockets, all the variations of the Thor and Delta rockets. It's awesome. It's a huge part pack, but they're beautifully done. Beautifully done. So check out Blue Dog Design Bureau if you haven't already. You can just Google that. I'm sorry, I'm not going to grab the links for you guys right now, and I also like Tantaris. That gives me all the Russian parts that I want to play with. And then beyond that, I just have a couple ones for gameplay. Like I still use MechJeb occasionally. Of course, Kerbal Engineer. Can't live without Kerbal Joint Reinforcements. And then like some visual mods and Waypoint Manager, stuff like that. Let's see. Zwebby says Japanese are good at miniaturization. If you could only see my Casio wristwatch. Oh man, that's funny. Oh, Goseki INZ says can't post links. That's right, we can't post links in the YouTube chat, but we can in the tomorrow chat. Otherwise, maybe I can put them in the description after this is posted later. Sorry, I'm like I'm reading comments of stuff that I talked about a while ago. So it pretty much seems like you guys all agree that a SpaceX and ULA merger would be a disaster. Fail collaboration, says Jim Burr. That's funny. Jazz Throwout says ULA needs to get their shit together and start producing way cheaper. Couldn't agree more. Although they pretty much have their shit together since they've had really good launch reliability, and I guess that's why they're allowed to charge so much. Although the prices are going down, those bullshit contracts and cost-plus contracts are going away with. Thank you, John McCain, for that. Thank you for freaking fighting and calling out all their bullshit. Sorry for swearing, but I get really pissed out about it. Ooh, Lisa Stojanovsky suggests Planet Bella for the new name if Planet and Terra Bella combine. That'd be awesome. And Goseki says Planet Labs is too confusing with Rocket Labs, and I'm assuming that's probably why they changed their name to just Planet. But I don't know. Gregory B says, Mike, has Centaur ever flown in the 2x RL10 configuration? I can't find any info on that. I believe it has. I believe it's flown in the 2-engine configuration, like back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Make them look it up. Yeah, it's flown on the Atlas II. That was like one of the most standard ones for the Atlas II. They used dual engine well, they were going to do a dual engine Centaur on a Titan III, but that never went through. Oh yeah, and they also did a dual engine Centaur on the Atlas III, the version in between the stage and a half and the Atlas V. And that was like the same size as the Atlas II in diameter, but with the new RD-180 engines, or rather new at the time, I should say. But yeah, dual engine Centaur has flown a bunch of times. I'm not gonna go into all of it, but yeah, dual engine Centaur has flown a bunch of times. Free Jaffa 92 says, I thought SpaceX was going to wait until Raptor to do second stage recovery. They might. Like I said, that whole second stage recovery is indefinitely on hold for now. So. James Harkness, what's up, dude? Welcome, welcome. Centaur is orbital ATK. No, asks Jazz Throwout. No, Centaur is United Launch Alliance. I think that was originally Lockheed Martin. Not originally, but before ULA, that was exclusively a Lockheed Martin contract. Cool, cool. So I think I'm finally caught up on a lot of your comments. Oh, let's go back to the tomorrow live chat room. Oh boy, I caught up on the YouTube and now there's a bunch of comments on the live chat room. Terra Labs, that's a cool name for a merger. That's suggested by Green Gym LL. Or is it Green Gym 2 or is it Green Gym LL? We always are confused by that. Ooh, Bella Planet, beautiful planet. Or Planet Terra, ah! Space Pods, Leeskie asks, Space Pods not done live, correct? No, they are not. We filmed them. Space Pods take, even though they're shorter videos, they actually take a lot longer to produce than the live shows because, like for me, my standard process is, you know, I'll do a lot of research and I read space news stuff every day. I mean, I live and breathe space, but I'll pick a topic. And then I will create like a rundown for myself. Back in the day when I was doing just videos on this channel, on my channel here, I wouldn't script it. I would just pick a topic and then just speak about it off the cuff. And it came across kind of like how my whole presentation is right now. You know, I'm saying a lot of ums, I'm thinking a lot, and I have a lot of pauses and all that sort of thing. And whenever I have something scripted, it's generally easier for me. That being said, there's times where there's something that I want to say or a lot of information that I'll need to memorize to get out on screen, and I'll flub up my words. You know, I'll misspeak something or I'll mispronounce something or whatever, and I'll say that same thing over and over and over and over and over again until I get it right. So then the filming takes a while, and then editing down all my footage, and then getting whatever additional media I want to do, because I don't just want to have it be my talking head the whole time, but also have, you know, pictures and video and anything else I might be able to grab to better visualize whatever topic it is I'm trying to talk about. Yeah, space pods take a while, and I'm very sorry to everyone that I haven't put out any space pods yet. I'm probably not going to have anything until next month, because this year has really snuck up on me, and I've just been working my butt off trying to make ends meet and keeping things going. So yeah, so I'm really sorry about that, but we'll make it up to you guys. I'm gonna try to put together a couple of evergreen space pods that can be released at any time and aren't necessarily they're not a time-sensitive news story, if you get what I mean. You know, something like the SpaceX launch today, if I talk about that 3 weeks from now, you know, it's old news by then. So whenever there's something big in the news, I try to cover it as quickly as possible, whether on the live show or a space pod, to give our take on whatever it might be. But for other times where real life gets in the way and things are just too stressful or too crazy, it'd be nice to have a couple of these evergreen space pods, in the bank, so to speak, that I could upload whenever I'm too busy to produce, a time-sensitive news topic or something like that. And Mini Stoge, if you're still in the room, I'm pretty sure you are. We should all do that, me, you, and Jared. And I'm really sorry, but yeah, if you have been working on anything and if you have anything ready to go for next week, I know you were saying earlier that you were working on your high seas space pod, talking about the high seas program. Oh yeah, you're saying right there in the chat room, confirming that. So yeah, go ahead and produce that as normal, and I might put up some bonus videos this month to kind of make it up to the patrons. That won't necessarily be a space pod, but will still be something. What about a short amateur rocket building space pod? Yeah, I feel like, Jared kind of did one, but he was putting together a kit that he ordered online, and that was really cool and all, but like when he first talked about doing that pod, I thought he was going to do something from scratch and actually mix together the solid fuel himself, saltpeter and sulfur and all that sort of stuff that's just used in your basic hobby rockets. But he was putting together a kit, which was still cool, don't get me wrong, but I'd like to put something together from scratch and see how that goes. Actually, I did want to create an idea that I had for evergreen space pods. Is I want to create a video series, probably about 3 videos about rocket flavors, because there's your 2 main camps of rocket fuels. You have solid fuel and then liquid fuel, and then within those 2 camps, there's a whole bunch of different chemicals that you can use. So I feel like a solid rocket video would be pretty easy. There's like 3 or 4 main fuel types that I can think of off the top of my head. And then for liquid stuff, again, there's a whole bunch of different fuels that are used, and it varies from country to country. And I even want to talk about some old rockets like the Black Arrow that used essentially laughing gas, liquid laughing gas, as its propellant, and that's freaking awesome, and it burns super clean too. So the British were onto something way back in the 60s. It's a real shame that their program didn't keep on going. I blame the French. Let's see. I completely forgot my train of thought there. I don't know what I was even talking about. Sorry. I'm going to go back to the YouTube chat room. Does Delta 4, BFits asks, does Delta 4 also use Centaur? Who owns Centaur? Delta 4 does not use Centaur. They use the Delta Cryogenic Upper Stage is what it's called. And there's the expanded version for the Delta 4, and the original Delta Cryogenic Upper Stage was for the Delta 2, or rather the Delta K, or rather the Thor rocket. Oh man. It's so funny that the Delta rockets are called Delta. What they're named after is a upper stage that was kind of like a variant of the Able Star upper stage that was only used like a few times, like 3 or 4 times, and like it was never designated Delta, but it was just the 4th one in the stack. It was the Delta stack, so to speak, because I believe it was on the Atlas I rockets that had solid rocket boosters, and so I forget which one it was, whether it was the main engines or the solids that were the alpha, and then the booster engines that would fade off in the stage and a half were the beta, And then the sustainer engine was the Gamma, with the upper stage being the Delta. And they named the Delta rockets after that, even though they're actually should be called the Thor rockets, because it's the Delta II was still a Thor rocket, so to speak. It was still using an upgraded version of the engine that was used on the Thor rockets, although with all brand new tankage. So it's funny how they stuck the Delta name stuck for those rockets. Lisa asks if I am a member of Space Generation. No, I am not, but I'd like to be. Jazz throw out. Quick, ask 1,000 questions. Free Jaffa 92 asks, did you see the Wall Street Journal article about SpaceX financial situation got revealed? Yeah, and that was for 2015. And that really sucks, but I mean, all along SpaceX hasn't really been making a profit. And Elon Musk, has pretty much gone bankrupt twice trying to get SpaceX off the ground. So I don't know enough about what their financial situation is like. I mean, even from that article, sure, we can deduce a lot from that. But at the same time, like, I don't know enough about, advance payments that they might be getting from customers, like NASA or some of these communication satellite operators. But I don't know. I'm not a economist or a accountant, so I don't feel like I'm qualified to talk about their finances. But it seems to me like, I mean, even if they're losing money, they're still they're not quite so below water that they're, going to go under anytime soon. And Elon definitely isn't going to give up unless he's forced to, if you know what I mean. So, I don't know. SpaceX is projecting $30 billion of revenue by 2030. Fake or real? I don't know. Last year, they hoped to launch 30 rockets. And what did they launch last year? 9? 7? Can't even remember right now. I'm getting so tired, guys. I'm sorry. I've only had like 2 hours of sleep. I'll probably wrap this up in the next like 20, 30 minutes or so. So, yeah. Oh, Lisa already... see you later, Lisa. I need to catch sleep, too. Thank you. I hope your house hunting goes well. And if it has a lot of room to maybe possibly set up a farm, me and Livy would love to come and set up some raised beds or something. Yeah, thank you, Lisa, for that great interview and for preparing all those videos and stuff of some of your experiences. Okay, so you have a link in the tomorrow chat. Go to spacegeneration.org and sign up. It's free, and they have a bunch of scholarships for him to go to conferences and stuff. I will sign up for show. And I'm under 35, although I'm turning 30 this month. Wait, is that next week? Shit. When is my birthday? A week from tomorrow. So tomorrow's Sunday, so not this Sunday, but next Sunday after that, on the 22nd. I am turning 30 freaking years old, and I'm starting to look it now, too. Man, it's freaking crazy. Freaking crazy. Oh, man. Green Jim LL says, I love it that Space Mike doesn't even know when his own birthday is. That should tell you how tired I am right now. Oh, man. Interesting. Let's see. Swanee327 says that they turned 30 in July. 2017, the year we became adults. Yeah, as Wavy, SpaceX is probably pumping money into everything as trust in the company is pretty high, and if they're not making a profit, at least don't have to pay taxes, and they had the whole Fidelity investment thing, and they might even have a bunch of other investments that, you know, they've kept secret, so that's why I don't really want to talk about it, because I don't know what I'm talking about, and I have a feeling that neither do any of the rest of us. You know, the only one who really knows SpaceX's finances are probably Elon and their finance and HR department. You know what I mean? And even then, only select individuals. Smoke Scale Quado says, speak for yourself. I turned 30 in 2013 and I'm still not an adult. Well, you know. Oh, man. Oh, jeez. Jimber asks me, Space Mike, would you buy a Tesla if you could? Abso-freaking-lutely. Oh, man. You know, if I had the money, there's so many things that I want to do that aren't necessarily like, you know, buying a Tesla is a selfish thing for me. Yeah, that's a selfish thing. And then like buying a house, that would also be a selfish thing for me. But then like if I were to, let's say that I had $1 billion in my bank account right now, I would start investing in a crap ton of space companies. A lot of these small startups that just need that, you know, that 500 grand to, you know, get past that last level and actually start launching something or delivering product or whatever. You know, I would start investing in so many space companies, even the big ones. And I would try to also, if I had the money, I would try to find a way to donate either money or time to space agencies around the world. I'd really love to get in there into the Russian space program and help them as much as possible. You know, I'd love to get into the Chinese space program, although they don't really need much help, but I would more just want to see what they have going on. Really like to help the Iranian space program get going. And just more human spaceflight. That's what I want to see. And yeah, I would try to just, I don't know, a lot of cool shit that I would want to do. Oh man, but yeah, I would definitely buy a Tesla if I could. I was this close to like trying to save up and put down that $1,000 deposit on the newest one that's going to be coming out. That haven't even been built yet. Gosh, I just lost my train of thought. But then I realized that the payments on it, after I got it, I just wouldn't be able to afford it. Not right now. Not right now. Yes, Iran wants to launch an astronaut. They've done a lot of tests for the service module. They're going to have a pretty decent service module for a one-man capsule, a Mercury class capsule, let's call it. And they, as far as the information I've been getting, they've completed a lot of the tests for that service module. They did a suborbital test of the Simorg rocket, which is going to be the first stage, I believe, of their human spaceflight orbital rocket. And that was successful, and they hopefully will have a orbital launch of the Simorg rocket with a working upper stage. The one last year just had a dummy upper stage, and it was just for the suborbital flight. But yeah, the upper stages, they've already tested the engines on those. I'm suspecting that they'll probably do some launches in April of this year because of the different Islamic holidays. Iran, like, their trend over the past several years is they only really do a launch, somewhere close around the time of either some sort of national holiday or Islamic holiday. So that's kind of the trend. Whenever any of those events come up, I'm always just like, oh, what's going on with the Iranian space program? Because Ramadan's coming up and they're probably going to do something crazy. It's just exciting for me because, being as old as I am and missing out on the Apollo days, I feel like as a citizen of Earth, which is what I consider myself, I feel more like I'm a citizen of Earth more than I consider myself a citizen of the United States. So to me, seeing nations like Iran and India and possibly even proposals from the European Space Agency and from Japan to have their own human spaceflight programs and to do the first steps that the United States and Russia did back in the 60s is really exciting to me. It's like my way of, like, this is my generation's Mercury program, even if it's not for my nation that I live in. As a citizen of Earth, I still feel like pride in it, if that makes any sense at all. It might not make sense to any of you guys, but yeah, that's how I feel about Iran. That's why I'm so supportive of them. Yeah. Gregory B., the SLS is a ridiculous amount of money. I don't know. Yeah, K2LSS says, ESA doesn't do human spaceflight apart from paying for the Russians. Yes, that's true. However, they do have proposals of having their own capsules. Like, there was a proposal to do convert their ATV cargo vehicle into I think they were calling it like the ATVR. Or no, that's the HTVR. That's the Japanese version. But both the Japanese and the European Space Agency were going to use the service modules on their respective cargo vehicles, the ATV vehicle and the HTV vehicle. And instead of having the pressurized or unpressurized cargo, they would have a return capsule that would have heat shield and everything else. The Japanese program is slowly moving forward, but as far as I know, the ESA program never really got past the design stage. And they've been trying to, pitch different human spaceflight programs to all their member states, since they've been founded. Probably their most famous one is the Hermes space plane that never got off the ground, but that's, essentially, the HL-10, HL-20 spiral suborbital space planes that are all kind of the same design that the Dream Chaser space plane is designed off of now. And I'm not talking about the IXV. That is testing re-entry technology for spaceplane technology, but I have a feeling their whole IXV program is to have their own X-37B type hardware, and not necessarily for human spaceflight. But that's just my suspicion. I don't know. I haven't looked enough into it for their future plans for the IXV program. And Smokescale Quados brings up a good point. The European Space Agency might start doing manned spaceflight if the Dream Chaser gets off the ground. And more specifically, the German Space Agency, DLR, and I believe CNES, the French Space Agency, and then a bunch of agencies I don't remember the names of in kind of the Eastern Bloc states. oh yeah, Switzerland and Luxembourg as well, all want to have expressed interest in having their own astronauts on for the Dream Chaser. And I think that the UN is trying to help enable that because of the whole UN free-flying experiment missions with the Dream Chaser that wouldn't have people, but would have payloads from nations all over the world, especially developing nations. So I still think that Dream Chaser has at least a good potential to be a human spacecraft someday, not just a cargo spacecraft. We'll at least get the couple. We'll at least get a couple of cargo flights out of the Dream Chaser, but whether or not we'll get any human flights out of it is another thing. Yeah, Osin brings up the Indians might be doing a pad abort test coming soon. Their whole capsule thing, instead of doing a one-man capsule first, they're doing a two-person capsule. So Iran's doing a Mercury class and India's doing a Gemini class as their first human spacecraft. Ah, man. What's going on with my chat here? Let's see here. Why can't K2LSS says, why can't the UK Space Agency actually do something relating to space? I mean, they're having to start all over, man. They're having to start from the ground up with not a whole lot of money. So, I mean, yeah, it's a weird situation with them. And I have no idea if they have any like secret projects other than like providing some electronics for different materials, which almost makes them sound more like a commercial entity than it does a nation's space agency. But we'll see. We shall see. $3210 HEJ says, the UK is bad? Look at Sweden. Our space minister said we need to stay on the ground. And that's your space minister. Oh my God. That's messed up. I'm assuming that you're from Sweden. Hello to you from America, to Sweden, with love. Skylon is our only hope. I really hope that does get off the ground and that works. That would be awesome if Skylon works. I haven't seen any updates from them in a while. I'm guessing they're still doing engine tests. I don't know if they're any closer to building like an actual airframe, because they've had like the subscale airframes doing like wind tunnel tests and stuff like that. And I heard a rumor that the wind tunnel tests revealed like a bad aerodynamic design with it, and they've had to redesign like not the whole vehicle, but the airframe for the vehicle. And so it might not even look like a lot of the pictures that we've been seeing over the past couple of years in its final form, if it even gets to a final form. Emil says, what is it you work with, Space Mike? I have somehow been able to miss it entirely. I'm not sure. Do you mean my day job or this broadcast? Sorry, just spitballing here. I'm thinking that I should probably wrap this up. We've been broadcasting now for over an hour. And there's only 44 of you left in the room now. So, yeah, I think I'm going to wrap this up soon. Before I go, though, is there any last questions or comments or concerns or suggestions that you guys have? Oh, day job. So Believe it or not, I'm working a bunch of minimum wage jobs right now because I can't find any other good jobs here in town. Although I am currently trying to apply at a certain space company to do some videography work for them, and if they're truly interested, because like I was just hitting them up to see if I could do some interviews with them, and they're just like, actually, would you mind sending us over a resume? So cross your fingers for me, everybody, that they're actually interested, because I would love to actually get paid to do more stuff like this so that I'm not so burnt out with like regular, you know, real life bullcrap that I don't have the energy to make these shows. And that's kind of been my problem. That's why you haven't seen a space pod from me yet this year, because I'm so exhausted all the time and so tired all the time. And there's some times that that I get, you know, just really it's just hard with all the editing and everything like that. And I have like 4 or 5 episodes that are like, you know, in different levels of production that I abandoned because I either took too long on it or, you know, someone else made a video about it that was way better. So yeah, there's that donate button. I don't know if that still works though, or if that's through the Patreon. I do have my own Patreon for this channel, although I feel like I should disable it and refund everyone who has been contributing to it, because other than the last live stream I did on here, I haven't posted a video on this channel since what, September? So I feel like unless I can get my shit together and start putting out more videos on this channel, that I should just close down my personal Patreon and refund everyone's money, because at this point I feel like I'm stealing your money for not actually having at least 1 or 2 videos every month. For those of you, if any of you in the room right now are one of my patrons, and for those of you who might be watching this later, let me know what you guys think. But yeah, I feel really bad about that. And that's another thing that like gets in my way of producing videos, is I'm just like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad about not having anything, and just it like goes into this weird downward spiral. I'm sorry, guys. Man. Anyway, not to end things on a kind of depressing note. Ooh, K2LSS says that the head of ULA is live streaming. That's cool. I wonder what he's talking about. I am too honest for this line of work. Thanks, I think. Anyone know what Tori's talking about? If he's live streaming right now? I might watch that, maybe. So yeah, we're about 2 hours away from a possible small satellite launch with the with whatchamacallit. God damn it. Japanese sounding rocket launching a CubeSat. Thank you. You guys are suggesting take a live caller once a month. Gustavo Gargioni says, Mike, don't know about you US guys, but here in the Outer Rim, your videos are an inspiration. Keep it up, man. Thank you. Oh yeah, the Japanese rocket's called the SS-520. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate your support and for joining me for this Space Mike themed After Dark. Yeah, I'm going to go get some sleep, and before I do that, I'm going to write myself a little to-do list, and when I wake up, I feel really good right now. I feel like we've had a really good, you know, we did a good live show. And today's just a good day, and that SpaceX launch has got me really fired up and everything. So after I've gotten some sleep and everything like that, I'm gonna try to produce some stuff today and keep on going. But anyway, keep on keeping on, everybody. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you for all the questions and for bearing with me in my tiredness. I'm sure this isn't the usual state you're used to seeing me in. Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than keep moving onwards and upwards, everybody, and I'll see you in the future.